Okay, I want you to picture this. It is a regular Tuesday afternoon, about 4 p.m. Your kids just got home from school, and your 12-year-old is a hot mess. She is mean to everyone, and after about 10 minutes of her storming around the house and yelling at everyone, you find her up in her room crying into her pillow. And she says, "I just don't know why I can't be nice to everyone. I love them, and this just bubbles up out of my mouth." And you have so much compassion for her in that moment. Takes you back to when you were 12 years old and you felt like your body you were a victim to it and to those hormonal swings that you didn't even know were about to maybe sabotage future days, future months, as you started cycling. So let's unpack this. We're going to talk today first and foremost about some things that are common but not normal and what we can do to help support our body through those and our daughters in that process. If you're new here, I'm Rita Johnson. I'm the owner of Health and Hormones, and here you'll get all things from fatigue solutions, gut healing, period help, and so much more. Let's dive in. So thinking and talking about especially young girls before they start cycling, I actually think in my personal experience and also with the people that I've helped support in my practice, that it's these early times before a girl actually starts cycling that is the hardest. And mostly because we have no idea the rhyme or reason when these hormonal shifts are going to happen. After we're having our first menstrual flow, then we can kind of start to see a cadence. Oh, when this happens, then I have my period right away. Or when this happens, I'm usually a week after my period. And that helps us so much. And so I just want to say, first and foremost, I think us as moms knowing that and being guarded with that information, being able to walk into that conversation with okay, girl, this is going to get easier, is so helpful for them. And it's helpful for us because it's also really difficult for us to be dealing with an erratic, irascible temperament when we have had a hard day too. They're not the only ones that is exhausted and, struggling come 4 p.m. So that's a good first and foremost. But also then there's so much that we normalize because it's so common. And so things like these erratic moods, having really painful periods, having headaches, or things that put us out of commission during our cycle, whether that's during menstruation or during ovulation or leading up to the next menstruation. Anything that's causing us to say, I'm actually not going to do my normal life right now. That's telling me that we need to dive deeper into what your body is trying to tell us in and through that. So definitely things like, breakouts, tummy stuff, mood crashes. We tend to just power through, but maybe we don't have to. Maybe we can actually learn how to support our body in that process. So why are we missing this? I believe a big key is that because we're not empowering our girls with the knowledge to be able to chart their cycles. It's more common now than when I was going through starting my menstrual flow for girls to be cycle charting. There's more programs and resources out there. However, we still have this preconceived notion that cycle tracking is NFP, and NFP is for married couples. And that is true. To practice NFP is set aside for married couples. But cycle tracking, or what I'm going to call body literacy, understanding the language of our body, being able to observe it throughout the month, is an entirely different thing. It's something I would argue we owe to give to our daughters. So when we start to reframe it from this lens, then we see the importance of being able to help support our daughter throughout her entire cycle. And when we give her that, then she learns better how to be able to support and protect her own health and fertility. In addition to that, when we look at cycle tracking, when we look at all the information there, we're able to really support and understand the way that the Lord made us biologically different and empowered us through that by God. There's so much we can do to support our hormonal health, from varying the types of exercises we're doing at different days of our cycle to being supportive of how we're eating and nourishing our body. And that can make such a big difference for our girls, but also for us, whether we're navigating through perimenopause or we're dealing with erratic hormones. It's so important for us to be able to know how we can support our hormonal health through this time. So, for those of you that have daughters that are listening to this, whether they're already cycling or they're about to start cycling, I want to let you know about a really great opportunity that I have coming up. It's so helpful to allow for the conversation to be given to our daughters from this beautiful lens of you were made good. And there is so much about what your body is doing and saying that we can not only listen to instead of being a victim to, but we can support it, we can nourish it, and we can have a healthier long-term relationship with our body. And as a result, with our Lord, right? Because our body is revealing to us how He has made us. And that always speaks back to the Creator. So, what I'm doing in this upcoming mother daughter workshop is we are going to deep dive into cycle tracking for the girls, teaching them the why and how their body is amazing and learning the language of their body through this lens of body literacy. We're going to be talking about how they can support their hormonal health through things like cycle syncing and moms too. And we're going to talk about the parallels between puberty and perimenopause. And then we're going to talk about a healthy relationship with food and having some fun in the kitchen with real nourishing foods. How can we incorporate more of that, but also not feel like we're missing out? I believe that these are all missing aspects to the ways that we can support our girls so that as they move on from our home, when they graduate out of high school, when they go away to college, there's such an increase of eating disorders and having a poor relationship with our own bodies that I really believe the answer to that is to help cultivate a more positive relationship with their bodies and with themselves. So I hope you check out my mother-daughter workshop. The price for the workshop is for the mother and all of her daughters. Whether your daughter has just started cycling or has been cycling for a long time, I think you will find that there's a lot in this workshop that's going to be really wonderful, and I hope to see you in there.